Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to Allotment of the Dead. So, today I'm going to give you probably one of the first tours of the spring. I think we had the lovely spring equinox the other day, and we are well into the beginnings of spring, even though it's blooming freezing still, and I'm still trying to figure out some ways of heating up my polytunnels enough to bring the chilies down. They are pretty much past their welcome now at home. They are getting really big, and I'm definitely going to have to try and bring them down. So I've set up a couple of other bits and pieces in the polytunnel. We'll show you that in a minute, but I'll give you the tour as to kind of what everything's looking like at the minute. There is still quite a bit of work to do on this plot. There's plenty of weeds kicking around now. That spring period is well and truly in, and the weeds are up and running. Right, let me just show you kind of where we are with things. Okay, that sign looks really good still. It's 2 seasons it's had now, I think. Right, got a few bin bags as usual. Most allotments have got bin bags to get on the plot. But what you will notice is that, okay, that one's not straight, and that one's a bit straighter than it was, so, and it's a bit rotten at the top, but I've got pretty much 2 posts I can use here, and I've removed, you can see they've gone, the grapes are gone, well gone, they're stumps. Okay, so I've chopped them completely back, removed them, and what I'm going to be doing is, from the other end of the plot, I've got some really nice blackberries. I'm going to try and cultivate a couple of blackberries this year so that they can go in the ground here for this. Well, I'll plant them this year hopefully, and then you'll have some blackberries at this end next season. I've given the beds here a good weeding. I'm probably going to need to top them up with a bit more compost. And then in this covered bed here, I've covered it over a bit, just try and warm up that soil a bit. I'm going to plant some of my parsnips this year in there, and I got quite a few last year from this lot, and I harvested the last lot probably about 2 weeks ago, so that's pretty good. The josterberry, we dug out 2. So I had 4 here. One of them is actually, the root of it is underneath that particular bed there. We had one in the middle here, which I've got rid of. And the 2 that are left are really nicely growing again. You get this lovely growth, doing really well. And these are the first berries that are ready and ripe to pick every year. So I'm going to keep them manageable, goblet shape, but they do grow these really long branches, so you have to kind of keep them under control. Okay, let's go and have a look at the first bits of growth from the lilies. And we've got some there, some of the big lilies growing in now, absolutely fantastic. And I left the buddleia, I've just chopped it back. It was actually well rooted in there, so probably at the end of the season I might dig that out and try and pot it on, and we'll see what happens with that. But I've given all the other buddleias on the plot, so that one there as well, I've given that a good pruning. Kind of February, March time's the time for that. I've got all these self-seeded foxgloves everywhere, but the lilac's coming back, so that's nice. I love this time of year when you got new growth on everything. So the Weigelia, again, really good. It's gone a bit leggy. All right, we'll go and have a look into the jalapeno house. The dahlia planters, nothing yet on those. They don't usually start here until probably kind of late April-ish, and they start growing. My wasabi has gone to flower, so these Absolutely gorgeous little flowers. You can actually eat these as well. They're called hammer. I think it's hammer or hana wasabi. So this bit you can tempura fry them, and yeah, they're really quite tasty. I've had some already, and it is literally got that wasabi taste, but nowhere near the heat. A little bit of spice there, but not too bad. But it looks like the slugs are enjoying them as well, unfortunately. Bless them. Right, the beast is still in here. I haven't taken it apart. I might move that back up to the other end and use it in conjunction with something else to heat the polytunnel. The polytunnel seems to have retained more heat than this this building here. The sweet peas still doing fantastic. I haven't pinched any out yet. It's still a bit short, I think. Again, I'll give them a good little tickle. And then, yeah, they still haven't gone up to the rice plot, so we'll sort those at some point. We do have new growth. So this is the kiwi berry. New growth everywhere on here. I did get a few flowers on this last year. You can see the absolutely gorgeous little leaf buds growing, doing really, really well. So hopefully we'll have some fruit this year. We never know. The wormwood's doing all right there. Again, that was something I grew from seed last year. Doing really well. Smells really weird, this one. Always reminds me of a chili. I don't know why. But I think these can actually cause kidney failure if you're to eat too much of this. I think you can eat it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't eaten it myself, but you can do all sorts of things to your kidney. It's where you get absinthe from. Okay. And the kiwi fruit, I've got 2 vines, and both of them, thank goodness, are fruiting, or not fruiting, they're sprouting. You do need male and female on the kiwi fruit to actually get any fruit at all off this. Right, let's have a bit of a wander. Okay. So round the front, the hellebores are still looking fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous. I've got a couple more camassia to put in, and the ones there are doing really well. So I absolutely love camassia. Really quite a tall plant, quite almost like archaic plant. Really quite nice. The kale, this place now is looking a bit of a, everything's going to seed now, I think. There is still some kale we can harvest, especially some of this, oh no, it's gone to seed as well. Some of the larger leaf kale. We did have a bit of this. Absolutely gorgeous. I do need to be planting a few more now, ready for the new season. So that's one of my jobs for this week. Right, again, buddleia all nicely pruned back. A couple of tubs there. Oh, I haven't emptied yet, but will do. So the aconitum, being in the small poison garden here, is growing absolutely gorgeously. And the acanthus as well, that'll be coming back. Again, doing really, really well. Got a couple of beds over there to weed. And the perennial kale, every year these take an absolute beating from the pigeons. All of this top growth is basically pigeon damage. Anything you've got small sprouting, including the dahlias, that's why I'm going to have to cover them again this year. I put some wire mesh over them last year, and I'm going to have to do the same again this year, because anything where it's starting to sprout above the surface of the ground, and pigeons will go for. They're not fussed. They'll eat anything. The carrots I planted are just weeds in there, so we'll have a look at that at some point. maybe I'll plant some more. It's a bit cold though. Right, the other poison garden here. Again, these hellebores are absolutely gorgeous. Again, every part of this plant's toxic. The aconitum again, growing back in really nice large clumps. That's going to be a really good show this year. And these I originally thought were weeds. I'm not sure they are. I think these are corncockle, so I've left them. So corncockle again is something with a poisonous toxic seed, so I've left them. We've got some fritillaries. Again, these are toxic, and there should be some bluebells I think coming here, and you can see the lords and ladies growing back. That's really quite nice. And I think hopefully there's some new growth from the foxgloves, so we should have another show of really decent flowers off those, I think. Okay, one of the first edibles that you can get this year or in the year is the wild garlic there. So a whole row of it across there, but you can see where it's self-seeded itself amongst everything. I did have some winter aconite in here, but it doesn't seem to have come back. That's a pretty shame really. But you can see the wild garlic, they also call these ransoms. They're just growing everywhere at the minute. Absolutely, look at that. I'm going to leave them. They're self-seeded amongst the there's membrane under this, and there's bark chippings over the top, so these have seeded in the bark chippings. But yeah, I'll let them go. That's the where lights go to die. I think all of these are completely dead now, so they're a few years old. I'm going to have to get rid of them, get some replacements. I think I always like lights down here. You can see the other little bluebells and snowdrops. I think those are snowdrops. Yeah, galanthus. They're the snowdrops going, and the euphorbia again doing really nicely. Right, do we have any growth from the hostas? Yes, we do. So the hostas are starting to come back, and here, absolutely fantastic. Right, sheep kill. So again, another toxic plant. This is pretty much something that will kill sheep and livestock, called Calmia. And then we've got another poisonous one at the back there, Daphnia. Hasn't really ever done much. There's buds on there, but it's not doing much. It's almost growing like a magnolia the way that's growing, which is a bit of a shame really. Pineapple guava, doing really good. Again, I've not had any fruit off this yet. I probably need to give it a bit of a feed for the new season. I can't remember what time of year that this one actually fruits. I need to look that up again. I think it might be spring to autumn. I'm not sure. I've left the mimosa in the pot, and I don't think it's going to come back. But so I'll have to turn this pot out at some point. The cola plant, again, new fresh growth, and it smells so good. And this is the pot I planted up with fritillaries, and these are black fritillaries and the snowdrops. So I think the snowdrops, unfortunately, most of them have gone over, but we're going to get hopefully the absolutely fantastic fritillaries coming out relatively soon. Right, this is the other big pot of lilies, and it looks like we've got a few things growing through. I've given it a covering of straw just to keep the warmth in, and also keep the moisture in. And I do have some lily of the valley growing this year, so that's nice. All nicely coming up. There we go, just there. Okay. The insect house. Haven't really noticed much this year. Maybe I've got it on the wrong aspect. This here is west facing, I think, so I might need to move that. I think they prefer south and east, so I might need to move that, but we'll see. Right, my strawberry bed needs a bit of a weeding, and again I've got another jostaberry there. Okay, so this is my laburnum, again another toxic tree. Brought it in for the winter because again it gets kind of cold. My giant onions, they're growing, they are still growing, and I have got some thickening up a little bit, so that's nice. Nothing fantastic there though. And my will I need to replant that? That's all the mint. I haven't replanted any mint, but and I've watered it, just waiting to see if there's anything going to grow back. They say you can't kill mint, but I think I have, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, right, actually let's show you this before we go. So this has managed to survive the winter. So this is the olive plant, and again it smells so good, that really nice strong smell of olives. Did I show you my Szechuan pepper actually? No, I didn't. There it is, nicely growing back, lethal little spines on it. I've got growth though, so that's nice. I thought I'd killed it, but again it's coming back. Looks like there's a little bit of a thing coming out there as well. Hopefully that'll be a nice plant at some point. It's taken a while. Right, plenty of weeding to do there with Barry. Hello Barry. And the garlic is doing well, except for this one row. That one row there, again, same as last year. I planted the same variety last year, and it didn't grow last year either, but it's growing this year. Or I've got other ones that are growing this year. The elephant garlic at the front here is growing nicely now as well. Okay, we should get some decent garlic this year. Right, we'll just have a bit of a glance up this end. So this was all my old, where I planted the tomatoes last year. And again, I'm going to have to dig this part over. It's looking a bit old and knackered basically, so we'll have to get all those out. I've weeded and dug over the, at least I had weeded it. See, weeds in the spring, they grow back so well. So I'd actually weeded this area, so this was all the pumpkin patch, and then we've got the nice cage we've got here, which we're going to hang hopefully those pumpkins off here. I've managed to crack my head on this a couple of weeks back, so I've put some more cable ties on so I wouldn't smack my head again. Horrible. The blackberry, so this is the blackberry I'm going to try and cultivate for down the bottom. I've tied in the new canes, cut out the old ones, so hopefully we'll get some decent fruit this year. Just starting to get the growth coming back now. Right, I think I need to give this whole area a bit of a trim, and I think I'm going to keep the grass this year and try and make another hotbed. Grass is one of the best things to use for a hotbed because when it rots, it produces so much heat. So we're going to give that a go again. And the mulberry, I think I need to do a little bit of pruning just to take some stuff away from the path again. But I don't want to take too much off it because it did quite well last year. I did get a few bits of fruit off it last year. One of the most difficult fruit to actually harvest, mulberry, because they just disintegrate in your hand. Right, one last look into the polytunnels and we'll show you what's going on. So these were a few things I tried to overwinter and they weren't having any of it. My oleander as well, I might have killed it. This cold weather's been absolutely awful. I'm hoping the pelargoniums come back. They did last year. I did get them growing again last year and they were okay. In fact, the pelargonium outside was the best growing pelargonium I had, and it lasted throughout that really cold weather, basically probably because it was growing outside. But we're at 13 degrees at the moment, so these are the Manitou potatoes. I've got them in here just to protect them a bit from the weather. I haven't actually planted the rest of my potatoes yet, so St. Patrick's Day was the 17th and I missed that completely. Right, now let me show you what I'm going to do in the polytunnel here again to try and be able to bring the plants down a bit earlier. Right, so I've almost got like a meat market affair here. It is actually a lot warmer in here than it is in that one. I think it was what, 13 degrees in that one. And let's have a quick look over here. It's probably going to be the same. It's probably just me. Oh, it's nearly 14. So there's an extra degree in here already. We've got some nasturtium growing. I've got all the things I planted the other day in here. So this is the sunflowers, and I've got some basil down here, hoping it will grow. We'll see what happens. So I've listened to you guys a little bit in that I've compartmentalized it partially. So you can see there, I've draped a few bits more of the bubble wrap down. Makes almost like, you know, when you go into a meat locker or something like that and you have the meat flaps. Meat flaps, is that a word? Probably not. That's actually probably not a good word. Don't Google that. You'll find something completely different, I think. And I've got myself one of these propane heaters. So a nice big thing of propane, and then the propane heater there. Comes with a little mechanical thermostat. And I'm going to try and get this going tonight and just see what temperatures I can keep in here. If I get the setting on 2 on this propane heater, then that should keep it in here at about 10 to 12 degrees. So hopefully this will work. This will enable me to start bringing some plants down. I am fast moving out of space at home, so I'm definitely going to have to. The other thing that I definitely need to do is probably harvest a lot of the chard and beetroot that are over there. Again, that's growing really well. And I need to plant a few more seeds, kind of brassicas and things like that. Right. So still plenty to do, plenty to plant. I'm going to plant some Corella, bitter melon. Again, I'm going to plant that down here and just see if it grows. It's old seeds. I'm not losing much if it doesn't grow. And I'm going to try and grow that outside. It does prefer a little bit of heat, but maybe once the summer kicks in, if I've got some plants, then hopefully if I stick them outside against one of the climbing structures, maybe I can grow some bitter melon Corella outside. We'll try that. Again, I've got some beans and things like that to start thinking about sowing. A little bit too early yet. It's probably going to be late April, early May before I plant those. And also melons. I'm going to do melons and cucumbers in here in hanging baskets. So hopefully I can get some really decent fruit off those as well. So again, like I say, plenty to do. I've got a lot on my hands here in terms of trying to get things moving. I've just pulled out the glory lilies pots that I had in the corners here, and I've got probably 3 bulbs out of 10 that I had, and the rest have rotted, unfortunately. So I've replanted one of the pots with 4 bulbs. I think it's 4 bulbs I've got. Again, there might be different kinds. I'm probably going to have to buy some more. I absolutely love glory lilies, and they do really well in the polytunnels. And we'll see how they get on. Right, I'm going to come down later on tonight, and I'm going to light this. Keep an eye on it for a while. See what temperature I can get it at. It's like I say, if you set it on 2, then hopefully it should stay at about 10-12 degrees overnight. And then once it gets to 12 degrees, hopefully with the mechanical thermostat, it should knock the propane off, so it doesn't actually use it when it's kind of temperature. The last thing I want to be doing is spending a lot of money on propane if I can help it. I do need to have a heating sort of kind of way of sorting this out, but yeah, probably not with spending a fortune on propane. That's not something I want to be doing. Right, that's a quick tour of the plot. Again, there's not much going on at the minute. It is that early season. There is a few bits and pieces in the ground. There's a few bits and pieces I can still harvest, and there's plenty of new stuff that is going to be coming real soon. And we're going to hopefully have some really nice plants, nice produce this year. If I can keep my chilies alive, then I'm going to have probably 150, 160 varieties, which I should be able to just do multiple different taste tests and things like that. So that should be really good. I love the flavour of chilies and I love the variety. So we'll see how that goes. Right, I will see you on the next video. So all the best, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.